Hello, I'm BrigantiaBlackbird of the Blackbird Grimoire. Welcome to the daily forecast for Tuesday, December 17th, 2024. It is the 27th of Sagittarius, and it is the day of elves. And I think that little elf, I don't think he's caroling. I think he's looking at an instruction manual. Maybe he's building something. It's hard to say, but he was a cute little fellow, and I hope you like him too. And if you can hear that racket next door, I apologize. There's nothing much I can do. I happen to share a wall with complete barbarians at present who don't have any respect for that some of us actually have to need a little bit of quiet during the day. But moving along and getting back to something that's hopefully a bit more cheerful. In our astrology, the sun is in Sagittarius, mutable fire, which represents adventure. The moon is third quarter Cancer, cardinal water, which represents emotional rapport. At 12:33 p.m. Central Time, the moon does go void, of course. And then at 5:39 p.m. Central Time, it moves into third quarter Leo, a fixed fire sign, and it represents enthusiasm. Mercury is in Sagittarius, mutable fire, which is to be opinionated. Venus is in Aquarius, fixed air, which represents the intellectual. Mars is in retrograde of Leo, fixed fire, which is tempered action. Jupiter is retrograding in Gemini, mutable air, which is to broaden perspective. Saturn is in Pisces, mutable water, which represents nostalgia. Uranus is retrograding in Taurus, fixed earth, which represents rebellion. Neptune is in Pisces, mutable water, which represents intuition. And Pluto is in Aquarius, fixed air, which represents reformation. Now for our retrograde reminders. For Mars, reconsider what you really want. For Jupiter, reconnect with your true path. For Uranus, reconsider how you rebel. And for Chiron, restore the heroic spirit. Next up, our moon moods. To begin with, we are in a waning gibbous, so express gratitudes and reap the benefits of your work. And now that the moon is in Leo, the theme is leadership and creative play. So retrograding Mars in Leo is just kind of carefully going about its business. It's taking action, but it's in a more thoughtful and considered way. And then we have the Leo moon who wants to make all of it fun. So cross off that to-do list, look for moments of enjoyment, and make sure that you relax this evening. The Leo moon, the kitty cat needs time to play. Then for our tarot, we have the Strength card today. It is number 8 in the Major Arcana, which represents compassion in this deck. And the keywords for the card are self-control, courage, and compassion. Then we see a Father Christmas all in green, kind of carefully carefully petting this reindeer. You know, the reindeer is a powerful animal, and those antlers could definitely do some damage to a person if the deer took a notion. But then you see, you know, Father Christmas, Santa Claus, he's forming a relationship with it. He's letting the deer know that he's safe and he's not there to harm it. You just see the kindness and self-control and approaching things in a thoughtful and considered way. That is what the strength card really embodies. And that's what strength really is. It isn't just about the power of our muscles. And strength isn't about, you know, losing temper or unleashing emotions in some unbridled way. Strength is about having all of your being in alignment and proceeding with everything in balance and in harmony and looking at what can be done in a productive way. That is what true strength is. And that's something we might meditate on today. It might be something as a reminder for us to maintain some self-control and our composure if we find ourselves tested, you know, as I have been lately. Uh, it's an opportunity for us to take a deep breath and say, okay, I'm going to make decisions about how to react to this. I'm not just going to react to it. I'm going to decide. Next up, our Celtic triad. There are 3 schools of the foolish person: the punishment of the law, ill happenings in their life, and a bad position in the life to come. So, fools can only carry on in their folly for so long before they have unfortunate consequences. Of course, legal punishment, sooner or later, idiots tend to fall afoul of the law in some fashion. And of course, once that happens, there's a variety of consequences for that. Then ill happenings, you know, when you sow the seeds of foolishness, you will reap the harvest of difficulties and sadness. I mean, there's a reason why every religion of which I am aware throughout continents, throughout different time periods, throughout different philosophies, they usually have some version of you reap what you sow, because we can all acknowledge that that is a common reality of the human experience. Then afterlife issues. You squander the gift of life, that tends to result in a posthumous talking to. Now, I don't believe in perpetual punishment because no matter how grievous someone's deeds are, there comes a point when the scales of justice have been balanced and they have paid what they have owed for that. So even if there is anything unpleasant going on in the afterlife, there comes a point when the point is made and they are released from that. I truly believe that because the idea of perpetual punishment that says that everything can happen without end, and that doesn't seem to be what happens really in nature. It doesn't seem to be what happens in even in human dealings of life. There's always a stopping point. But why set ourselves up for the point where we might get a waggling of the finger from the ancestors or be greeted by the God saying, "You're going to learn an outstanding lesson." Why put yourself in that position if you don't have to? And I suppose sometimes people persist in their foolishness, and that's what ends up happening to them. But we can make choices, can't we, gang? We can make choices to not find ourselves in that situation. Then today's magical correspondences, they are on the theme of longevity. The color is red, the plant is the marigold, the animal is the pig, and the crystal is bloodstone. Now, a long and healthy life is more than just looking after your body. You need to take care of your energy. You need to look after your emotions. These things are also required, as long as taking into consideration your spiritual health. All of these things work together as a greater whole. And while we can compartmentalize them to a certain extent, if we only look after one at the expense of all the others, expect problems. They will come. Then today's hearth-keeping hint, it's all about the pets. Don't leave Fido and Mittens out of things during the festive season. Now they might not cooperate with the wearing of cute outfits like these animals that I found on Pinterest do. They can still be part of what's going on. And of course, temptations are going to abound to meddle with your pretty decor. You can temper those by providing fresh toys, making sure that you get a lot of playtime with them. And sometimes you do have to get out the water with the squirt bottle. Just like no, stop that. But don't leave them out of the seasons. And of course, be careful with any kind of natural plants. Not everything is particularly safe for our furry friends. Then for today's practice, the exchanging of gifts at Yule, that goes back to Nordic customs. This is a day when we would do well to focus on our tasks. Our archetype for today is the Winter Warrior. What is it that he is fighting exactly? I think you could do some interesting contemplation with that. Then for meditation, something you might choose to focus upon is challenges through the snow, because while we may not be getting heaps and heaps of snow where we live, winter brings along its own metaphorical challenges, and we might feel as though the same as if we had been trudging through 3 feet of snow and all the difficulties that goes along with that. So there's you can take this one literally, you can take it more metaphorically depending upon your circumstances. And then you might choose to carry or wear an obsidian crystal today. And in our creative quarter, the feasts are about to begin. Are you prepared to create a welcoming atmosphere in your dining room or wherever you're choosing to eat? Remember that this atmosphere and having a good dinner, it's not about your expensive dinnerware. I mean, if you have nice things, use them. That's what they're for. It also isn't about doing things to excess, although if you can afford it, that can be fun to do too. But to be truly welcoming, it's about presenting your best foot forward. It's about making sure your guests know that this is all for them, and you want them to be comfortable. You want to show honor to them. That's how you create the actual atmosphere. Everything else is just set dressing. And whether you're doing something that's quite dressed up like what we see in the picture, or perhaps a bit more rustic, I've seen some really charming farmhouse tables that are set out for Christmas dinner, and they are just there. It gives you exactly the right kind of cozy vibes. So no matter the nature of your arrangements, just make sure that you're doing it with the right spirit, and that spirit is really what's going to be uh, making it a memorable occasion. Then for our journal prompt today, have you had cause to reconsider the goals you've set for yourself? If so, what will you choose to do about this doubt? How will you resolve that? And if not, are you moving forward with it? And I found you a little Christmas outdoor bucket list, and it's the things that you might exist about, making snowmen, uh, go on a hot chocolate hike, just lots of fun little stuff to do. Enjoy the season. And when you are able to go outside, even if it is a bit nippy, dress appropriately, go outside, get some fresh air. It'll do you more good than you can possibly imagine. And on that note, everyone, have an absolutely magical day. I wish you bright blessings and all of the joys of the season. Come back tomorrow for the next edition, and I will see you guys then. But bye for now.